What's up, y'all? It's T-Tar, and today we're going to be talking about the Loyal 3 in Pokemon. Now, the more we dig into the code, I want to bring up the idea of a fourth Loyal Legendary Pokemon in the code. And there's a story to tell you, so we're going to be digging into the code. I should be able to cover everything else in this video, but there's something interesting to tell. So in the story, when you're playing the game, they tell you the tale of how greedy Pokemon came and took the masks from Ogerpon and the man because they thought they were worth a lot. But when you look on the signs in the games that tell the stories and in the promotional material, it shows a different picture. It shows Ogerpon running away from a boy and 3 Pokemon. Now, this is based off the real story in mythology, which is the Momotaro story, the Peach Boy, which is the boy who befriends the 3 to take down the ogre. And the boy, it made sense that maybe it was us or Kieran, but there's a different way to look at all this. Now, nothing is set in stone. This could even be deleted material, but there's something odd lurking if you rewatch the scene where the Loyal 3 are shown. And this is where the fourth Loyal Legendary idea comes from. So if you look at the part where the greedy Pokemon show up, it's hard to tell because of the way the Pokemon are drawn, but there's something else lurking in the corner. And so what better way to find out what's lurking than to break down the game files itself? So here, I have all the files in the game, and this is the images that are used in the story of the Loyal 3. Here are the images of when the greedy 3 show up. There's Okidogi, there's the ugly monkey Dory in the bottom left, and then Pheasantipity. But in the top right, there's a fourth one, and there's a whole asset for it in the game files because they had to animate the scene in game. But only you see the bottom of this, but it does exist. And so this redoes the whole situation when you look at that signpost, and there's a fourth person or fourth creature on the side of the Loyal 3. This could be the leader of the Loyal 3 and the Momotaro Pokemon. This whole story is flipped. So the original story of Momotaro is, the ogre steals from the village, it steals jewels and people. And so Momotaro's a little boy, and he brings like his grandma's like dumplings with him, and he goes and he finds the dog and feeds the dog, finds the pheasant and finds the monkey, and that's how he gets them on their side and he fights the ogre. Now if you think to the story, this can all be flipped. Look at the signpost and the ogre running away. I know it's propaganda, but it could still mean the same thing accidentally. It's like they didn't tell us the whole story. And in the story itself, they say 3 greedy Pokemon showed up, if I remember correctly, which seems inaccurate because they showed this fourth one lurking too. So it's like all 4 of them showed up, but the mask maker just didn't know that, so he didn't pass down the true tale of what unfolded that day. There could be an extended version that's hinted in the Blueberry Disk DLC. What? Indigo Disk DLC. The only thing is, this could be, scrapped content. We gotta be careful when trading in these, but if you look at the way this thing looks, first off, it looks like a pig. You cannot make a Momotaro Pokemon and he's like half pig, half peach. But you see the story told where he feeds food and gets the 3 on his side. What if he is the original Pokemon that was greedy for the masks with the Paldean crystals in it, and he's the one who befriended the 3 Pokemon and went and attacked Ogerpon and the man to get the masks, and the dumplings that in the original tale Momotaro feeds? What if that is the equivalent of Momotaro granting the Loyal 3 their poisonous chains? So if you look only in Pokemon Scarlet, in the Loyal 3's Pokedex entries, it says that all 3 of them are dunce losers until somehow they're blessed by these toxic chains. Monkey Dory's an idiot and then it gains psychic powers. Okidogi gains all this muscle. Pheasantipity gains beauty. This could be the blessing of the Momotaro Pokemon. Now I have a lot more thoughts for how the story could go, but let's keep this video short. Let's look at in-game if there are any hints to little Peach Boy here. And here's Light, who gathered some. So in one of the shops, when they're selling other products, look at that. It's the exact same shape, except without the pig noses. There is the legendary Peach. And here's another image of a Peach in a store somewhere. This is beyond exciting, like the first DLC, like the Isle of Armor, is supposed to be just filler, but it's truly supposed to lead into more in the second DLC. And with how Briar and Kieran are established in the first DLC and are clearly carrying over, the Indigo Disk really is sequeling both the main story and the Teal mask. There being a leader somewhere takes the cake. And what also takes the cake is if the mask maker never told the story with the leader, because he only mentions there are 3, then it's like the leader survives. Remember, Ogerpon came and it killed the loyal 3. When you see them in their shrines, as far as we know, they died. Something caused them to resurrect. I think it's because the Teal mask was in the vicinity. But if the 4th leader was never spoken about, it means they escaped the attack. Either they survived Ogerpon's attack or they ran off and left the loyal 3 to deal with Ogerpon, because he's probably greedy too. He's probably not a good Pokemon. Okay, so future teacher here. I noticed when looking back at the cutscene, it actually says a group of Pokemon, not 3. And they must have said 3 somewhere else in the game, so confusing me. But maybe the mask maker did know then. You know, this is the special tale that the mask maker tells his descendants. So maybe the mask maker knew, but the village still doesn't know the 4th one exists, or else they would worship it too. So it really does seem like the 4th one abandoned the greedy 3 because it was a coward and ran off, but it may be the strongest one. I mean, it is Momotaro, right? It would be crazy if the mythical Pokemon of this game lines up with the evil Momotaro Pokemon. This would be like one of the first times the mythical actually has a relevant story to it. But considering that this peach pig looking Pokemon is greedy and interested in the jewels, maybe he's sniffing around in Area 0. Where else would we find it but like gathering crystals in Area 0? Now look back at the signpost image. That is Peach Boy with this greedy 3 attacking Ogerpon to rob her. Anyhow, we'll save snooping around in these image files for later. Let's finish up what we started with some of the code that we can read in this game, courtesy of Matt. Okay, so they showed something in the trailers about us having a league club room. Here's some they showed in the trailer. So we have like a grass room and then a pink room. And then you can invite like gym leaders and main characters from the story to come to your clubhouse, and you can like battle them or trade with them. But we got some details. So there are 8 decors that it seems you can pick from in the code. There's default, gorgeous, which might be this, fancy, future, retro, monotone, natural, and dark. Okay, I thought it'd be past and future, but I guess it's just future and retro. And then it seems like your club room, you're able to level it up 2 times. Whatever that means. It probably means, you know, you can get more important characters to come over. Next thing is there appears to be a particular storyline in the Indigo Disk that, while the details have all been taken out of the game, the characters involved were left behind. But it seems to involve Arven, Nemona, and Penny, which is nice. Everyone's imagining a final battle against Tropigus where it's a 4-way raid with their actual rivals, something we wanted in Sword and Shield but never happened. But there's more characters. Then there's brother and sister, which are Carmine and Kieran, someone codenamed Mama, G-Father, and G-Mother. These are probably characters we're only gonna meet in the Indigo Disk, so we don't know who they are yet, but at least having these 5 characters involved in the same storyline quest is pretty cool. Of course, doesn't necessarily mean they're all gathering together. We could just be interacting with them in different parts of the story quest. And then, going back to the Blueberry League clubhouse, there's leftover code for who the guests are gonna be. Let me just show you on their official site. So there's a clubhouse you can visit to meet with people you encountered at Blueberry Academy to deepen your bonds with them. I can't tell if the club room is personally yours or a shared room, but it says this is the base of operations for the League Club. This is Drayden introducing you to it. Oh my god, it is a joint room, and you lend your room to the other clubs for their activities. So if you donate Blueberry points, a currency used within the academy, you receive gifts from clubs you've donated to. So this could be how the level up function works. And then the special guests. So during your time at Blueberry Academy, you'll be able to invite familiar faces from the Paldia region for a visit. And when you invite a trainer over, you can talk to them and take photos together and fight them and maybe trade with them. So it's what we thought. And you might just see a side of them you hadn't before. I can get closer to her. Let me get closer to Briar. She better be a guest here. So here's all the guests you can eventually unlock. I imagine it'll take a lot of effort to get these guests over. So we have all the gym leaders, which is a great start, especially if you can maybe see another side of them. Maybe you can learn more lore. There is more to some of these characters, like Rhyme, the rapping gym leader, is the sister of Time, and apparently was the gym leader before her too. She just kind of retired and is teaching now. So maybe we can get more tidbits about all the gym leaders like this. Then there's Arven, Penny, and Nemona. Those would be big ones. You know, I get the feeling they don't come with us to Blueberry. It's maybe only when we go back to Area 0 at the end that we'll run into them all again. Then a bunch of the teachers, Dendra the fighting girl, Time, Ryford, Miriam the nurse, Saguaro, who the frick is that? Jack and Salvatore, that's another teacher. Jack is a big one. It's been hinted that he came down to Area Zero with Clavo and Sada and Turo a long time ago. It'd be nice to learn just if that's true and if there's any meaning to those hexagon glasses. Clavo? That's a big win. Gita was inviting Gita, useless. She's probably not even evil or anything. She's just useless. We've met too many more characters to care about Gita now. I bet you freaking Lacey can whoop Gita's ass. Unless Gita's from Blueberry Academy, because she's dressed all preppy. Then we have the whole Paulian Elite Four, which is pretty good. The Blueberry Elite Four, Carmen and Kieran, and then Shiano. This is probably the director of the academy. I don't want him as a guest. He's gonna like tell me I trashed the place. Gym Leader Elite Four and then Blueberry League. Larry will have a triple job. Can you imagine if the Blueberry League actually has a champion and it's Larry? He's a gym leader Elite Four and a champion in a remote place. Alright, and we're gonna end this video with a big one. So this will finish up the code for now, and then we'll dive into deeper mysteries that these codes imply in future videos. So there's remnants for text that you'll see in battle. Not the text itself, but who's saying it. So you know when you're fighting like Carmine, she keeps talking to you in battle like, oh, you won't beat me. Well, these are the names of other characters that have in-battle text. That's just my understanding. And it gets a bit weird here. So we have the Blueberry League, those four. Kieran, something called Kodai Kame. So we'll wait for that. Zombie Man and Zombie Old. You think they'd add freaking zombies in this game? Like some sad story, you know, like a trainer that was buried beside their houndstone. And then you trigger something and he comes out. Don't worry about that. Oh my god, zombies! There's a freaking zombie arc or something. Anyhow, then Nemona, Arban, and Penny, and then Dokutaro. So the two we're gonna focus on is Kodai Kame and Dokutaro. So Kame means turtle. This is deep here. And Kodai means like ancient times or distant past. It sounds like this is for Trophagus, and so this is in-game text that would appear during this grand battle against Trophagus, which is pretty cool. So that just leaves Dokutaro. Now Doku is like toxic or poison in Japanese, and then Taro, like Momotaro, this freaking big peach boy keeps coming back. He's real. He's sounding more and more real as we go. And you know, like when you look up pictures of the Loyal 3, remember I said it would make sense if the equivalent of him giving the dumplings in the original tale is him blessing them with chains. Look at their chains. They all actually have the same pattern at the very end. And it looks like it. Tell me that doesn't look like the pig man. It's like he's giving them his imprint. And if his name is Dokutaro, some poisonous Momotaro, he's a poison type too. There really is a leader to the Loyal 3. Man, I have a huge thought to tell you about that, but we're gonna have to save it for later. I'm gonna call it quits here. Make sure y'all shank that like button and let me know your thoughts about this. What do you think about this poison Momotaro lurking in the code? We learned that there's 8 new Pokemon in the second DLC. Maybe he's the last one. If this all does pan out, I'm mad proud of Game Freak for making the Loyal 3 even more relevant to the main story than we thought. Tune in tomorrow and we'll talk about some more, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.